Hey guys, it's me Nasa. I'm going to give this Royal Rumble review plus the Raw review in Philadelphia. So I did not post the Royal Rumble immediately, but I'm going to explain about everything that happened at the Rumble. Not too much of a detail, but the things that are important to discuss about. And then after this, then we can get to the Raw. I'll put the timestamp on the comments where you can at least go and proceed to know my thoughts and everything that's going on Royal Rumble and Raw. So first of all, we'll start first with the Royal Rumble. So we'll start with the women's Royal Rumble match. So Liv Morgan was the right choice that she won the match, and I think she potentially going to face against Stephanie Baker, which we already know that at Raw. Um, she successfully defend her women's world champion against Raquel. And then we get to the during the match where Becky Lynch has her early elimination. We didn't saw her during Raw, and at the same time, I want to add in that the crowd was absolutely dead on the spot. Before later parts of the match, I feel bad for the NXT women because I get it, they're still new, they're not bigger stars yet, but it is what it is. And then after that, we proceed to a stare down with all three of Japan's best wrestlers. Of course, it's not really a bigger pop, but it is what it is. Once Brie Bella returns, that's when, the place was, exploded because at that point everybody's cheering for Brie Bella, and then she did the yes movement chant similar to his husband Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan. And then after this, I'm going to add in that Bianca Belair wasn't part of the Rumble, so she's still hurt from her injury. There's no AJ Lee, and at the same time there's no Paige. Now there were three women that, in my mind, show out during this match. Kiana James, she went with a great performance. Lash Legend, who dominated this match, taking out one of the bigger names. Of course, the Saudis calling her overrated, but I think it is a way that they're trying to push bigger stars, and I hope that people would understand that. And then you added in where Sol Ruka, we don't know when she'll be in the main roster, but she did whatever she could to survive. Of course, the Soul Snatcher is kind of one of the coolest moves of females, or one of the female wrestlers, or one of women's wrestling today. But at the same time, she did a mistake during the final three. Once we got the final three between Liv, Tiffany, and then Sol Ruka, it ends up with Liv beat the two of them to become the women's winner of the Royal Rumble. But at the same time, there's also a story that Liv betrayed Raquel, and then that happened during the Monday nights where Raquel wanted to do this alone in a street fight, but of course they didn't pay attention. They lose again. It is what it is. Then we get to the second match, AJ Styles versus Gunther. Gunther wins, and that means AJ Styles is now retired or retires from professional wrestling, I think, or for WWE. The fact that Gunther punished Styles in a way, pure dominance. But at the same time, like when you think about it, we will get to Gunther later on the Raw episode. But still, it was a match that, people want AJ to continue, but in the end of the day, it is what it is. He is faded to black with the sleeper hold. But there's another part about Gunther about the Rumble which I would discuss as well. Why I didn't want him to be part of the 30 entry. Now, we get to the third match, Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Drew retains, and that means that Sami is 0 for 12 against Drew. The crowd was dead midway through. Honestly, I don't understand why the Saudi crowd did not, show up that much. I get it, the bigger stars you cheer, and then the ones that are not, of course, but it's like, I thought that the whole arena was not sold out, because when you think about it, I don't know, because based on what I know, they shouldn't put those lights, which is kind of a bit distracting. But at the same time, it ended up where, there's a few people you could see. It's just that you thought that there's no crowd. Plus, the crowd isn't alive. I'm still worried about WrestleMania though, so hopefully they do it well. Now, the thing is about this situation. So Sammy lose again. We don't know when he's gonna become champion. If he is, it was a missed opportunity. He wasn't red hot as it is, and it is what it is. But I feel like we get nowhere for Sammy to win this match against Drew, because Drew needs to retain. Now the real question is, can he keep the title by the time we get to WrestleMania? We'll find out on Friday nights. Then we have the fourth and final match, which is the Men's Royal Rumble match, which Roman Reigns wins, and of course it's some people say it's the safe option, but it is what it is. But I will discuss, some of the key things about this. First of all, Braun Breaker get eliminated immediately, but this hooded figure, this black hooded figure, could be Seth Rollins. It cannot be Finn Balor, because why would Finn be in this situation? As long as it makes sense. Just because he's not part of the Rumble, it doesn't make sense for him to attack Breaker. That's number one. Number two, Oba Femi dominated the match from number one entry to get to the moment he got eliminated from Brock. He did fantastic job. Then this is the funny scene parts. So El Grande Americano comes in, and then the next entry, it was the original El Grande. So I guess the original is the babyface and the El Grande is the heel now, I guess so. Which is funny, but they didn't last that long. And then the next one, we got Le Parker, who is not the OG version. Should have been Finn, to be honest. Like, the crowd wasn't reacting. That's why it's so bad that you got people from different companies that, nobody really cares. It's not that nobody watches, it's just that they don't care. That's the thing. And I feel like Finn should at least take the spot, given the ambush situation similar to Carmelo did to Akira Tozawa last year, and then Speed came out as the replacement. It should have been like that, but it is what it is. Next one, Royce Keys, aka Powerhouse Hobbs, made his debut. So hopefully he's gonna do something big, but I get the feeling that he's gonna be part of NXT first before he gets to the main roster. If he's in the main roster, I don't know where you're gonna put him in the position. I feel like, if Triple H decides, I'll put him in the faction now, it's like, make him use of his potentials. But it would be best if you put him in NXT first. Next one, we get a Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi stare down, which this is a good thing, because we already know that they're gonna have a match at Mania. But what I didn't like about this is the interruption of every time the wrestlers just separate them. You don't want them to go one-on-one. That's the thing. Hopefully that we can get that sooner or later. But we're already at the road to WrestleMania at this point. Next one is Jey Uso's entrance, which this one is the beginning where I hate going forward. Jey Uso is about to yeet his entrance. Supposed to be that the entry to the Rumble should take in more than like an hour and 30, no, a minute and 30 minutes. Sorry about that. A minute and 30 minutes. But the fact that they come in, when you time it, Jay's entrance should not be, should not be matching a minute and 30 seconds. I think that at some point it's going beyond, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So what happened is that when this is the thing that I kind of hate what Jay did, because last year he didn't do this. Now he did this a lot. What's even more bad is that Jay had to yeet from entrance down to the crowd to the ring. Did it on the second rope. I thought that someone was going to eliminate him, and then when Roman came out, he's basically punched Jay for doing the third time. Also, we didn't see a Brock versus Roman stare down, because of course they're trying to move past that. let's not forget, this is the same situation that happened to the Lucha brothers. To those who doesn't know, Penta and Ray Phoenix didn't even look eye to eye because Ray Phoenix got eliminated quickly and then Penta comes in too late, which I don't know why. And then there's no Chris Jericho, which there were a lot of rumors at the time, but the number 30 spot goes to Gunther. And this is a thing why I feel like Gunther should not be part of the Rumble. First and foremost, he already beat AJ Styles. Supposedly, you should protect his character, protect him not to lose again. And despite losing to the Rumble against Reigns, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. Because if you project this guy as the most dominant, he should not lose. So this is what happened. During the ending of the match, Drew screwed Cody. So there's story there. We could have a triple threat between Jacob Fatu, Cody, and Drew someday. Or maybe we could see that in Mania if, for example, if we understood that Roman now is going after CM Punk. Then we get to the final four, which this is the most, the things that I didn't like as well. Logan Paul in the final four for the third time in third straight years. It doesn't matter, man. Like, it cannot be LA Knight, it cannot be Jacob Fatu. For some reason, I don't know why. Alright? So once Logan was out, of course, he's out for the third time for the third straight year. Rennie is out. And then you got Gunther versus Roman. And the thing is about Gunther, he's already exhausted, or you could say he's worn out because he already had the match. Before Roman, he's fresh going on to this match. So the way that Roman won is basically where he beats Gunther when Gunther's no longer 100%. That's basically how it is. But I wouldn't complain because of course Roman wins and it makes sense because this is how business, makes a lot for the main event. And basically Roman Reigns will have the accolade of the most main events at WrestleMania history. There's by none who can reach that level. But here's the thing. This is the same guy Roman talked about Triple H not building stars during his absence, and look at what happened. Basically, he just won. That goes to show that Roman was right, where they didn't build stars during his absence. They relied so much on the star who already is made at this point, instead of building one, instead of taking a risk. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And even if you can argue Obafemi, Javon, they're still new. Trick, they're still new to the main roster. Give them some time. And that is when people will realize, okay, they'll be stars one day. We don't know when. I also like the fact that in the Rumble, you got Javon, Trick, and Oba, stare down each other. Similar to their, they have their own match in Stand and Deliver last year, but thank goodness that they got that moment. And that's basically it. So overall, Liv wins, Drew retains, AJ retire, and then Roman wins. That's basically it. There's nothing more I can give. Honestly, the Royal Rumble, it's not, the women's is way better than the men, to be honest. But, of course, from the beginning to where we get to almost at the end, I feel bad for the women, the ones who are new to the main roster or NXT rosters. But for the men's roster of the Royal Rumble, star-studded, but it's like, it's alright for some reason. Because later on it became more worse until we get to the right ending. Now, after this I'm gonna go to Raw, so I'll pause this here and then we'll get to Raw review of February 2, 2026. Anyway guys, we're now gonna continue on Raw's review. So first and foremost, we got Braun Breaker snapped during the beginning after he being attacked by this mysterious, black, hoodie figure at the Royal Rumble. Demands Adam Pearce to come in because if not, he's gonna destroy the show. But the thing is that LA Knight unleashed with a chair attack on the Vision on Austin Theory and Logan Paul. And then after that, we get to a first match between Javon Evans versus El Grande Americano. Honestly, it's an okay first match. And then later on, we get to the original El Grande Americano screw the El Grande Americano, which is kind of a bit confusing of how it goes, but you get the picture. So basically, yes, Javon wins the match. Good for him. And then we get to the next part where AJ Styles theme song, you know, you can say it starts off, and then later on, Gunther, you know, Gunther was pretending to be AJ in this entrance, and yes, he talked about how he beats AJ at the Royal Rumble. He's the career killer, and then Dragon Lee comes in and then attacks Gunther, only to get choked out. Well, most likely he got choked out to death, and then that's basically how it is. So Gunther stood tall once again. We can have Gunther versus Dragon Lee. I would not be surprised if this is a career for Gunther versus the Mask of Dragon Lee, but who knows. Next one, we get a, War Raiders, I think a tag team match, but it ends up with Obafemi comes in and Wreck Habit. So there's still, question where Oba is gonna go, Raw or SmackDown, but we'll see. I get the feeling on SmackDown he's gonna, dominate again in some random, roster, whoever they have to, put in line with to get dominant from Oba. But we'll see on Friday night. And then after that, we get a Brie Bella return. Basically, the Bella Twins, they announced that they were going to focus on the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So I get it, it's already stacked. So if that goes to show that they're part of the, tag team, division, at this point, there's one team that, or two teams, I could say, would separate. So it's either Charlotte and Alexa because of what happened in the Rumble, or either way, we could have, the Judgment Day separation because of what happened earlier during the show. Next one, we get Penta beats Bronson Reed by count out because LA Knight comes in and hit a BFT in the chair. So again, LA Knight is basically trying to do a manhunt situation to take down the Vision. And it is what it is, right? The Vision is in shambles because this is not their night. But who knows? People say it could be LA Knight. I don't think so, but we'll see. Next one, we got a 2026 Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan, celebrate her huge victory because Dominic Mysterio came out first, and then, he announced that he's going to, be in Philly because he's going to announce the winner of the women's Royal Rumble to Liv Morgan to celebrate this offer. And then, of course, Liv, not yet sure where she's going to compete yet because she did say that, she's going to choose whom championships she's going to go after. So it's either, Stephanie Baker or maybe Jade Cargill on SmackDown. She'll be on SmackDown, but we'll see. And Raquel Rodriguez did say that she wanted to face against Stephanie alone, but it didn't went well. So of course we got Roxanne and Liv there. I thought that Raquel is gonna win, but it is what it is. And then Stephanie Baker defeats Raquel in a women's world title Philly street fight match. It was a okay match as well. This is basically the last match, and it's kind of a bit crazy to think about it because this is basically 3 matches in Raw, which is crazy. But I could be wrong, but it's just only 3 matches the way I listed down. And here's the thing, because if Stephanie retains and then after that she get the Oblivion, I cannot pronounce well, but Liv's finisher, and then I could be wrong, but either way she got the championship, and after that, we get to a last segment of the night. The Royal Rumble winner Roman Reigns chose to challenge the World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk. So Roman hates Punk because of how it boils down to history. So of course Roman already beat Drew for the past few times. So in this time, this is between Punk versus Roman, and I hope that we're gonna have a good match between them because this is going to be something that we are looking forward to. That each of them throwing shots about their history and all this and all that. But in the end of the day, that's basically what you get for, this Raw. And honestly, the Raw after the Royal Rumble is not that much as, one of the best Raws that we get so far. It's like, it's all right. But this is basically the road to WrestleMania. They're trying to give us a preview in each segments and all this stuff. So what's next for next week? There's a couple matches. I'm not gonna go detailed it right now, but we're gonna have that review for next week. Tomorrow will be the NXT review that I'm going to talk about who's gonna be the new NXT champion. We're gonna have a 7-man ladder match. That's basically interesting to see. So that's basically it for this review. So all I can say, guys, is that hoping we can get some good Raw because of course Road to WrestleMania. All I can say is that thank you for watching, guys. We'll see each other in the next video, which is the NXT review. So thank you for watching. We'll see each other in the next video, guys. Peace.